Welcome to Sex, Love, and Soul. As a former high-end sex worker turned spiritual relationship coach, I've embarked on a journey that's taken me from the depths of raw physical intimacy to the heights of soulful connection. In this podcast, we'll explore the intricate dance between sex, love, and spirituality, delving deep into the essence of what it means to truly connect with another human being on a profound level. Whether you're navigating the complexities of dating after decades of experience or seeking to reignite the spark in a long-term relationship, Sex, Love, and Soul is here to guide you. Well, hello there. I've been talking a lot about sex and not having sex on the first date and waiting to get to know someone before having sex. But there's something else that I want to talk about, and that is putting men in the friend zone. So I'm going to cover this part briefly because I go over this in other places, but I want to clarify that the purpose of a date for a woman is to get to know a man. Who is he as a person? Is he kind? Is he smart? Is he funny? Is he in control? How do you feel when you're around him? Do you share common values, goals, religious beliefs, and on and on and on. These are the kinds of things that a healthy woman wants to know about a man before she decides if she's going to bed with him at some point in the future. But it's different for a man. For a man, a date is an opportunity to seduce you. And the reason for this is if a man has asked you out on a date, it's because he wants to have sex with you. He's already decided, and that's why he's asked you out. He thinks you're hot. He wants an opportunity to seduce you. This is the beginning and the end of why any man anywhere asks you out on a date. It's not because he wants to be your friend. This is an opportunity to seduce you. I know I'm saying that over and over again because I think a lot of women don't understand that. It's different for men and women. But just because that's what is on his mind, it doesn't mean that he's going to try to get you into bed that very night, and that's all that's on his mind, but that is his primary motivator. That is a man's genetic prime directive, and it doesn't make him bad or a sleaze or a dog or shallow. It just makes him a human man. And it doesn't mean that you have to rush into bed to keep his interest. But having this information should keep you from going out with a man when there's not even the tiniest bit of interest for you. And why you need to pay attention to this is you're probably an overgiver, a people pleaser, a fixer, a caretaker. And what ends up happening is you feel guilty. You don't want to hurt some nice guy's feelings. And he was sweet and took you to a nice restaurant and you had a decent time. But you feel bad because there's no chemistry or even any hint of interest from you. So then you're sitting there and you're feeling bad about yourself because you don't want to disappoint him after he's been so nice. And you're wondering what's wrong with you for not being into someone who looks so good, quote unquote, on paper, right? You're like, what is wrong with me? Why don't I have a spark for this guy? Why put yourself through that kind of hell? What ends up happening with a lot of us is we have sex with him. All because we felt sorry for him or because we didn't know how to stand up for ourselves and gracefully bow out of the situation. And when I say that, not that he put any kind of pressure at all, but just our own guilt feelings. We built all this up in our heads. And so we thought it would just be easier to capitulate and have sex with him. And as gross as that sounds, we've all been there. We've all done it. So just know that if you are not into a guy and you don't think there's any possibility of cultivating sexual attraction, then don't say yes to a date. I would never say to date or sleep with a guy that you have zero attraction for, but I do work with women on expanding their ideas about what's attractive. Because sometimes we get stuck in a rut, like who we're attracted to is a habit. It's just a habitual way of thinking. And I will be releasing a course about that sometime probably in February of 2024. And in the meantime, I'll probably cover some of those concepts in another podcast. But I can't tell you how many times I've counseled coaching clients and friends and said, don't keep going out with a man if you're not going to have sex with him. Don't string him along. He didn't ask you out because he wants to be your friend. And if he's letting you friend zone him, that's because he's hoping for an opportunity to seduce you. He's hoping to wear you down and slip on in. He's hoping that you're going to change your mind, and he just isn't confident enough in himself to just tell you, nope, I don't want to be your friend. That's not what I'm looking for. Call me if you change your mind. He's hanging around, letting you string him along because he's hoping to find an in. He's wishing and hoping that if he does enough nice things for you, that he'll win you over, which to me is a really sad turnoff. Another thing to get into here is that if you're telling guys, hey, I just want to be friends, I want you to think about that for a second. Why are you saying that to a man? You know that this guy wants to do you, and you're going to keep him around in your life? For what? You don't have enough friends? You're just going to keep this guy on the line? What's your friendship going to look like when you start going out with another guy? Are you just going to have him waiting around in the wings? Are you going to call him up like you would any of your other friends and say, oh my God, I just met this guy and he was so great. We have this amazing connection. Really? Are you going to do that with this new friend you have? No, you're not. So think about that. Why are you keeping this guy around? Really, really think about that. Do you want to be this man's friend? Or are you just afraid to be honest with him? Or think about this. Are you using this guy? Like, what do you want from him? Because you're not keeping him around for no reason. Is this an ego boost for you? Or do you have a little bit of interest? But maybe your interest level is just kind of low. Like, you like him, but you're just not sure. Are you keeping him around because you think maybe you'll change your mind? Or are you just kind of letting him hang around so you can use him as a backup? What do you want from this guy? Is it because you do like him as a person and you know that he likes you so much and you're afraid to hurt his feelings? So you just say stuff like, oh yeah, sure, let's go have coffee. I'll meet you at Starbucks. Or yes, I'll let you change the oil in my car. Or, oh hey, yeah, I need some pictures hung up in my bedroom. Why don't you come over to my place tonight and help me hang them? And you make it sound kind of suggestive, like it might lead somewhere, but you know it won't. It never will. That's not your intention. What if he's doing this because he doesn't have enough self-esteem to tell you to kindly fuck off? Do you want a little puppy dog hanging around? Or do you want a man? So let's get real. Let's be adults here. If you're not interested in a guy and you don't want to have sex with him, you need to cut him loose. You need to tell him, I'm not interested in dating you. I don't see us as being romantic. And if he's still saying, oh, but let me do this and let me do that, you need to tell him, no, thank you. And maybe later on, after he's gone for a while, you might change your mind and you might want to make out with him and might think, you know what? Yeah, I could see us together in the future. Then give him a call. Otherwise, leave him alone. When you fill your time and you give energy to relationships like this, where there's not a lot of integrity or honesty or vulnerability, it's just repeating and reinforcing bad relationship patterns and habits. Okay, I've said enough. I think you get it. Bye for now.